Hey there, Beeple. It's Ricky the Tie-Dye Bee Guy here. Today we're going to talk about cleaning up old, nasty-ass frames. So I've got a box here from a Deadout. Some of these frames are just absolutely disgusting. Case in point, this one right here. It's all moldy. There's pollen in there, bee bread that's all moldy and rotten and disgusting. But believe it or not, frames like this are actually salvageable. And I'm going to show you how in just a minute. So I'm just filling this vessel up with water, and we're going to just fill it up and put these frames in and let them soak. It doesn't hurt the wood. You would think that it would warp the wood after a while. Well, maybe it does after a few days, but I keep them in. I soak these for about at least 24 hours before I give them the first rinse, and then probably another 24 hours. So what we're going to do is we want to make sure that all this comb gets wet inside. So we're actually just going to give it a good squirt like that. You see, it's starting to actually dissolve already. But it takes a good 24 hours before this is actually soft enough to actually be able to rinse out of the frame. So we're just going to fill this up with water, put all the frames in here, let them soak overnight. And one of the important things is that you do want to actually wet the surface, wet the comb with the hose down inside the cells before you put them into the soak, because if you don't, they basically just shed water, and they're filled with air, and they won't let the water penetrate. So you do have to do that initial spritzing. Another thing you should know is that these frames do want to float. You do have to weigh them down on the top so they don't float up and out of the vessel. The water tends not to want to run into the cells. So if you shake them around, kind of vibrate them around underwater like this, you see a lot of bubbles coming up, and that's the water penetrating into the cells. And it just takes a little bit of finesse, but you do want to make sure that the water does penetrate into the cells. Otherwise, the bead bread isn't going to dissolve very well. And that's it. Just let it sit overnight. See how it looks tomorrow. Okay, hey Beeple, we're back after about 22 hours of letting these frames soak. It's time to get out and get them out and rinse them out for the first time. What happens is, a lot of times, the water only soaks in so far into those pollen capsules. They're really hard and dried up. Sometimes it takes multiple rounds of soaking, rinsing, and soaking again. We'll see how it does this first time. Let's grab a nasty one right out of the middle here. They're all nasty, but there you go. So you can see that's really nasty. So you can see all that yellow pollen, which has been softened by the soaking overnight, and it's coming out. You don't want to spray too hard. I'm afraid if you spray too hard, you could damage the comb. But it seems to be pretty tough, especially on this old comb, old dark comb. It's pretty resilient. And it takes a while. It takes quite a few times going back and forth. Yeah, this is gross. I can see wax moth larvae coming out of here, and Pretty gross stuff. I find it helps if you tilt it forward a little bit so the stuff can fall out of the cells. And you can see the water coming out getting clearer and clearer as you go along, as these cells clean out. And right here, some nasty wax moth larvae. Hopefully that'll focus, but nasty stuff, man. I find this center setting with a faster velocity coming out with fewer streams, but a faster velocity, that really helps quite a bit, actually. And as you go along, some of this comb is going to break apart. Usually the stuff that's been damaged by the wax moths and is kind of wonky anyway. See, stuff like this kind of crumbles away, but it's, you know, unsalvageable anyway. But most of the comb is pretty solid stuff. So this is doing a pretty good job. After only one soaking for 22 hours, it's pretty clean. There are quite a bit of wax moth larvae underneath the cells here, but once this dries out, they will desiccate. And once you put this in a hive, those bees will just clear out those corpses, no problem, and you'll be good to go. It's amazing how fast they clean cells out, clean the comb up, even mold. You know, sometimes you put these frames in a hive and you come back 24 hours later and you can't even tell there was ever any mold there. It's really amazing, really remarkable bees. So I wanted to show you an example of some comb that doesn't stand up very well. It's too delicate. This comb right here is it's never had brood in it, and it's pretty delicate stuff. And you can see as I started spraying here, see, it just kind of flakes away very easily. I'll just show you how that happens. Watch. See, it just wants to wash away. So in this case, this comb may not be salvageable because spraying it out is just going to destroy it. So I might end up just scraping this frame off and starting from scratch. Scrape it down to the plastic foundation, and re-wax and put it back in the hives. So here's an example of a comb that's really dramatic, and there's a lot of pollen in there. And watch what happens when you squirt this out. Oop. See all that muddy, brownish, orange. All that rotten bee bread being washed out. It's doing a really good job. Okay, people, that's about all there is to it. I had to move into the sun so I could get some light. Sun's about to go down pretty soon. So anyway, that's all there is to it. Pretty simple. A little bit time consuming. I'm assuming there are going to be very few large-scale commercial people that are going to bother going to this extent. It's probably worth more of their time. Their time is worth more than it would cost to just replace the foundation in these frames and clean them up. But hopefully that'll work for some people, and works for me for sure. I'm just going to let this sit out here on its side for well, until they're dry. I'll check every day. By the way, the wood swelled up enough that these won't all 10 of these won't fit in there anymore, but that'll shrink back up again, and hopefully there won't be a lot of warpage. I haven't seen any warpage. So I hope it helped. This is Ricky the Tie-Dye Bee Guy here. I hope I helped. Have fun.